Welcome. This video belongs to the module of Chemical Processes Simulation. Throughout this video, I'll be explaining the database of pure components in the Chemical Processes Simulation software. Overall, a database for computer software is a place where we store the entire raw data or information necessary to accomplish the tasks targeted by the use of the software. After being treated, this data is converted into useful information, which is used in software operations. All chemical processes are constructed for the purpose of treating mixtures of components. For example, a distillation column separates a mixture to various products, allowing the light components to ascend to the top of the column and the heavy components to descend to the bottom. A reactor, for example, is used to produce new substances from reagents. Thus, for a simulator of chemical process, the basic element for virtually presenting any process is the chemical components, and precisely properties associated with each component. This space is called the database of pure components. At the level of Hysys software, the database of pure components is accessible by selecting the Components tab in Simulation Basis Manager, and then clicking on Add. In this database, the components are stored in the form of a list containing the physicochemical constants of the chemical species, and which are independent of the temperature. And you will also find the settings of the correlations for the calculation of their properties, which are affected by the temperature. To show the properties of a pure component, for example ethane C2H6, you can search in the list of components in three ways. Either you select simulation name and put the name of the component simulation, you select file name and put the complete name of the components, or select formula to insert the components by their chemical formulas. Once the component is added to the selected list, the button View Component becomes active. This button accesses to the view of the properties of pure components. In the first board ID, you find the chemical family, and as you know, ethane is a hydrocarbon. You have the chemical formula C2H6 and the ID number that represents the ranking of the component in the software base. Ethane is ranked second after methane. As for the second window critical, you find the physicochemical constants of components, and which are independent of temperature. You have the molar mass, the boiling temperature at atmospheric pressure, aka normal boiling point, the coordinates of critical point, temperature, pressure, critical volume, and asymmetric factor. In the points window, additional properties are given by the Hysys. The properties dependent of the temperature are shown in the tab T-depth. Hysys provides the minimum and maximum temperature and the coefficients of equations used for the calculation of each property. For example, for the vapor pressure in the used formula, you have the constants A, B to F, and which are defined in the board, and therefore you can calculate this property for any temperature in the calculation interval. The database of pure components, which is a reference in the field of process simulation, is marketed by Deeper. Deeper database contains 49 physical-chemical property for 2,332 chemical species, and the settings of correlations for the calculation of 15 properties that are dependent on temperature. This data is collected by numerous manuals of chemical data. This picture represents a page of the base, Deeper, where you find the different fixed properties of water. For example, you have the molar mass and the coordinates of critical points. As for the second picture, you have the formula used for the calculation of vapor pressure and the temperature interval for this correlation. This question will be answered in the next video.